This conference will now be recorded.
All right, evening, everyone. We'll call the Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for Tuesday, October 19th to order. We got 3 cases tonight, and we'll start with case 2119. I apologize. I'm not going to try to butcher this name. Alexi. So the way we usually do it is we just have you present your case.
Yep.
We go through each, open it up to public comment.
Okay.
And we'll close and discuss amongst ourselves evening.
Okay.
And go from there.
All right. Good evening. My name is Joseph Maynard. I'm at Benchmark LLC. I'm here on behalf of Alex. This piece of property is located at 785 Laconia Road. The property is actually a condominium form of ownership, and both of the units on this lot are owned by Mr. Obukov. The lot itself is about 11,275 square feet in size. It has about 285 feet of frontage along Route 3, and the lot also has about 270 linear feet of frontage along Lake Winnisquam. The lot's kind of triangular in shape. It's improved with 2 detached buildings. The property also has a number of easements on it that include a shared beach and docks along the north side of the lot that go to some other properties. And there's also a small family cemetery on the property that is directly behind one of the units and to the side of the other one. It's my understanding that there's 2 people buried in that cemetery, and the structures are right up against the fence line that's associated with that structure. The first building on this lot is the one that sits down to the water. That building currently sits about 16 feet from the lake, and it has a deck that's about 14 feet from the lake. The structure is about 3 feet off the southerly lot line, and it's only a few feet off the old fence that surrounds the cemetery. That footprint of that house is about 550 square feet in size.
Can you stop for just 1 second? I just want to say, just so you follow along, I did this, gave you because it didn't really detail it on the plan, the setbacks and the, okay, just so you have, I'll have that, but I.
Yes, yep. Thank you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's fine. The second home on the lot, it's just north of the old cemetery. The structure is about 38 feet from the lake, and it has a deck that's about 34 feet from the lake. That building, again, is only a few feet off the cemetery, and that structure is about 445 square feet in size. Both structures on the property are serviced by municipal sewer, and the proposal is to raise the existing buildings and to construct new homes on the lot. The new homes are actually proposed to be identical, except for some modifications in the decks, being that the steps to one of the decks come in from the side, and where the other deck is able to run all the way to the side of the house, and then the steps go up to it. So in this area, to be able to get around them and get down to the docking structure, the deck is a little shorter on the lake house than it is on the other house. The footprint of each of these new homes is about 605 square feet in size. They're Cape-style dwellings. There's like a loft in the roof line of the structure. House number 1, the one closest to the water, stays roughly in the same spot, being that we're limited by the cemetery about moving it back any further.
Can you stop again on structure number 1? What is that up against the property line? Is that, that's going to be brick? Is that what that depicts right here?
On the proposed?
Right against the southerly.
On your second slide.
Oh, that's called Dripline Infiltration. It's a shoreline thing. So whenever we do a shoreline project and we're over so many square feet, we have to put a drainage measure in. So that's a Dripline Trench. So it's a hatching that identifies the size of the, and it's just a stone trench. There's a detail on the plans. They're about 1 foot deep, about 18 inches wide. They pick up the roof runoff, and it infiltrates the smaller storms.
Okay.
Again, house 1 stays roughly where it is because of the limitation about moving it back. The second house on the lot, we're actually able to move it back a little bit and further away from the cemetery, but that puts us closer in proximity to the right of way for Route 3. So if we end up being 17 feet from the right of way in our, the edge of that house to the actual travel way is about 45 feet. So it's still a considerable distance away from the main road. There's also guardrail along the main road, except for the cutout in this area for this driveway that comes into this property. New well is also proposed on the lot. The well is being drilled over in this corner here, and that well will service both of these new homes, and the sewer will remain the way it is now. So, any questions, or like me to go through the 5 points?
Sure, if you want to go through 5 points, unless you guys have questions at the moment.
Does everybody understand how many setbacks and issues there are? It gets a little confusing because you didn't really outline them that way on the notes, so that, because they're gonna need a variance for a few different, just to make sure everybody's got all the details of what's being asked. They're taking down, I don't know, he must have said that, they're gonna take down the structures and put new ones. It doesn't sound like the houses themselves aren't gonna be that much bigger, right?
No.
You're not going 2 stories or?
Well, they're story and like, because,
like it is now.
yeah, well, right now, the roof is like a shallow pitch. So the new roof will be a 12 pitch, and there's a loft proposed on the second level, but they're just 605 square foot aerial footprint is what they are.
Is that a change to the existing footprint?
They are, because one of the houses is 445 square feet and the other one's 550, and we're going to 605. So the one down near the water is getting increased 55 square feet in size, and then the back one is coming up 560 square feet in size.
Does that include the loft area?
Well, that's just the footprint of the structure,
Okay.
and so
So you are gaining a loft
I
area
am gaining a loft
over
area.
what you have now.
Correct.
And if I could, it appears that the structure number 2 is becoming more compliant because you were able to push that back. So if you look at the existing and proposed on structure 2, he goes from 38 to 41 and 34 to 37. It's really structure 1 that is changing, but by only 3 or 4
A foot,
feet.
yeah.
Here and there, 16 to 17, 14 to 13. That's what I kind of came up with. So
Yep.
I just want to make sure that was all that was, and obviously you have your shoreline protection permit.
Yeah, actually shoreline, it's filed, and I had a letter back from them. They asked for 2 things. One is because it's a condominium, they want a letter from the association, which is my client, that says this modification to the condominium can happen. So he's writing me that letter. And the other thing they wanted me to do is they had me dimension the drip line on the plan. Those are the only 2 changes that shoreline asked for on the plans. So.
And one last thing before we start the criteria, and the impervious is increasing, correct?
Impervious is increasing a little bit because the structures
It's a
are
little
getting a
bigger.
little bit bigger. So in a post-development, we're going to 16.4% at a post, where pre is 14.6. So we're only going up a couple of percent. But we're still under the 20% threshold.
And they're not in the groundwater protection, so we don't have that issue. Good. I think that was all my questions. I decided.
What is the setback? What is the setback for the well off the Route 3 requirement for that?
From DES's standpoint, 50 feet, and we're right about that setback off of that, for where that is being placed. So DES says I could theoretically put it 10 feet off the water, but because of the vegetation and the slope, I'm trying not to go down in that area with it. That seemed like a practical location, being that the well rig can get in there and set up pretty easily without disturbing too much area. So.
Are these variants needed if all they do is work within the existing footprint?
No,
No, so if they just,
if they took down and rebuilt the exact foundation, they wouldn't need it.
what's that, sorry, I'm just trying to understand, on the second plan, what's the pink area?
Okay, so that's a permeable patio is what it is, and walkway. So DES says when you go into the 50-foot primary setback, any walkways or patios in there have to be porous material. So porous material would be this whole area, and then we extended it to the driveway, but it's just a small section to tie it into where people park. So.
Is it changing the terrain of the plot at all?
Not really. It's pretty flat grade through that whole section now. There will probably be a little bit of excavation in this area to make the grade flat into the face of this second structure. But some of that area falls over the old footprint. So,
Are you familiar where those two buildings are? You've probably
Yeah,
seen
they're
them
right
a
next
bunch
to
of
that
times.
brown house. Yeah, right in that sliver, kind of where the highway
Yeah.
meets the causeway.
right.
Exactly, and they're actually nice. They look nice. I just take them down.
Now, the second structure in the back, that'll be basically 2 stories.
It'll be the exact same structure as the first of the other house. So my client is building the exact same one for both of them.
Page blue lot.
Yeah, they're like a king.
Thank you.
So,
Are they changing the elevation compared to what's there now?
yeah, the roof ridge height will be higher than what's there now, but there's nothing behind them. So,
Yeah, dormers.
We'll see.
sure.
Now, when you're saying the, in that like purple area
Yep.
on the second plan, what are you talking? Are you talking concrete bricks with the holes in the middle with concrete, like
Yeah.
gravel in the middle, or you just talking
You
gravel?
know what I mean?
So there's a dozen different types
You
of
know what I'm
porous
saying.
material. And so in this case, we had just proposed it as the pavers with the gaps in between them,
Okay.
is what I was thinking. But there's, DES doesn't care as long as it's a porous product. It could be like, they make a geogrid, which looks like grass, they just mow it.
Right.
They make these, they make, you could put porous asphalt, you could put porous concrete. You could do any of the porous materials. I find most people will do a patio looking one instead of pavement.
And the
So
elevation change from the road to where that is?
the road is up in the 500 range, and this structure, the top of foundation is 496 and this one's 493. So it drops down as you get off the road.
Sure
and
does.
get to it. So,
What's there currently?
what's that?
No, for entry.
For entry, right now, they utilize this gravel area off the road to park, and they just walk across the grass to get to it.
Okay.
So,
The beach and then the docks on the right, that's part of the same piece of property, right?
it's on
But
this
it's a shared,
property, but it has easements to other properties on it.
I think that whole piece used to be owned by
Behind
the
this,
Winnisquam.
I'm gonna come in.
And then they sold off those 2 houses and the land went with it, so.
Okay.
So besides not getting the shoreland 50 foot, it's also, it doesn't have the square footage, right, for the lot size for 2 dwellings.
Right, because they're condos.
Yeah.
They're existing condos.
So they don't need a variance for lot size?
They don't need a variance for it.
So just the things you highlighted here are what would,
It's really
Are there
all because of the
variances?
setbacks, because they're moving it, and like I said, and I think it, they're making one better and one, I'm gonna say worse, but it's
it's
pretty
about the
small.
same, yeah.
I mean, are any of them worse?
Yeah,
looks like-
just structure 1 is going from 16 away,
To 17, so it's
Yeah.
gaining a foot.
Yeah.
then so I guess it's the 14 and the 13. Did I do that right? The 16
Oh.
and 17, and the 14 and the 13.
So the concrete,
Concrete pad, right.
so I guess, just so I'm on the same page.
And it's gonna encroach more on the roadside setback. The front setback, I don't have what it was before, but if you look at The first one, the existing, it shows the 30-foot setback. See the 30-foot setback
Right.
line across the,
The structure met the
Sorry.
30-foot setback, but the deck didn't. That's on
Right.
that building.
right, and now the new one, since they pushed it back, the second house is getting pushed back
Oh, I see.
towards the road.
Mm,
So now if you look at this one,
The house.
it's 17 feet from the road where it was almost 30. It almost met the setback.
Right.
So
You see that
definitely
map?
doesn't meet
See that?
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So that's another one. So that's that last one. I didn't know what, you didn't have the number on here for me, so I
For the
couldn't pick
existing?
up what it was, or I didn't see it. So I wasn't sure, but it's now 17 from the front setback where you need 30. So,
Okay, so structure one is moving a foot back from the water line.
Yes.
And then there's a concrete pad that's moving a foot closer to the water line. Am I understanding that right?
Concrete pad.
the concrete pad was 14. They're putting a deck 13 feet from the water line, so that's encroaching more.
Okay.
It's only gonna be 13 feet from the water line.
The DES does allow a deck up to 12 feet from the face of the structure toward the water. It's not even a 12-foot deck, but under RSA 483B9, decks are allowed off the face of an existing structure or a structure up to 12 feet toward the water, as long as it doesn't go over the water. But these decks are they're 6 foot in depth.
And then the side setback is remaining unchanged.
Correct.
In the
3,
proposal.
right, that's the
Three.
3 on the corner.
Where the 20 line would be.
He had the 20 line on here. 20 line runs almost right through, on the newer plan, you can see it. He's got the 20 line going like right through the corner of the cemetery.
Oh, yeah,
See it,
okay. So
20
yeah,
foot?
I see where it would set it back. Okay. And then structure 2 is moving 2 feet further away from the water line.
But
The deck's moving
closer to the road.
closer to the road, yep. And the deck's moving 3 feet further away from the water line. But the entire structure is going about 13 feet closer to the
Right.
road. Okay. Okay, I'm just getting my head around.
Yep,
what the
I know,
actual
that's why
thing
it's
is
a
that.
lot. That's why I want you to take your time to understand what's really going on with it before we get to.
And the houses are gaining in size in the original footprint, but definitely gaining with each count the
With
second
height.
floor.
Right.
What's the right of way off of Route 3 to the state?
What's the width of that road?
No, the right of way off of,
Oh, the distance from here to here?
yeah, center line, yeah. Yep, that's it. Yeah, okay.
It's almost 30 feet.
Yep, okay.
Roughly. And like I said, there's guardrail that goes across this whole frontage.
Mhm.
So-
Where's the shared beach area?
So the beach area is this, and there's a deck in the right of way here, and then these docks they go with property, I think, behind this. So the stuff that's in this area is exclusive to these two structures.
And you still need to get shoreline approval?
Yeah, I should have that this week.
There's the- You guys ready for me to go through the 5?
Good. All right, I'll try to be quick. Number one, granting the variance will not be contrary to the public interest because the property is already developed with 2 existing homes on one property now. The homes are tied into municipal sewer and a new well is proposed. Although we're proposing to slightly modify the location of these homes on the lot, they will either be further back from the water line or further away from a lot line for the cemetery. Under 2, if the variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed because the plan is prepared to meet as many local and state regulations as possible. This plan replaces the 2 existing buildings with new homes and adjusts the structures as much as possible, moving them back from the reference line for the shoreline setback from the water. This application is to replace 2 existing residential buildings with 2 new residential buildings. The property predates zoning, and the lot size, shape, and setbacks do not meet many of today's building codes. The new homes will meet current building standards for new construction. Also, since the property falls in the shoreline protection area, there are improvements proposed to help with water quality where the existing homes do not have any drainage measures. We are actually proposing some. 3, granting the variance will do substantial justice because this is a residential area and we're proposing new residential homes. It's consistent with the area, and we would be continuing with the same uses that is on the property now. Granting this request will allow the property owner to redevelop and improve on their land. 4, if the variance were granted, the value of surrounding properties would not be diminished because this proposal is to construct new homes on this lot by replacing the 2 existing residential structures. The new buildings will only add value to the property and area. 5, unnecessary hardship under A, owing to a special condition of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. Denial of a variance would result in an unnecessary hardship because 1, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because the lot has already developed 2 single-family structures. The lot shape is long and narrow, and there's a cemetery on the property which impedes upon areas available for the new structure. The new location of the residential building moves them as much as possible away from the lake, and structure 2 moves both away from the lake and the cemetery, improving on the setback to the water and the sideline setback. The location of structure 2 does move closer to the right-of-way limits, but the proposed location balances the building's location on this property. And 2, the proposed use is a reasonable one because the property owner is proposing a modest replacement buildings for the lot. They are moving the homes as much as possible away from the lake and cemetery. And as a shoreline lot, they are also proposing drainage improvements to help with runoff from the homes and the lot. Under B, explain how if the criteria in subparagraph A are not established, an unnecessary hardship would be deemed to exist if and only if, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, the property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. The lot is unique where it's developed 2 homes now. The parcel also has other obstacles such as the cemetery and the shared beach area. The parcel shape and size, along with the depth of the property, severely limit redevelopment options for this lot, requiring a variance to do most anything on this property.
You guys have any more questions or anything?
Nope.
No? Any public comment?
Can you come to the mic, please? Thank you.
Yeah, I was just wondering,
You just have to state your name.
oh, Frank Lord, L-O-R-D. I was just wondering what the height difference between the existing house and the new house is going to be, how much difference it will be. I know it'll be like a loft, but is it going to be like a ski lodge loft or is?
You can-
Do you know what the foot difference?
I can give you my best guess here in a minute.
This is the building that they're proposing.
Yeah, so the structure height. Out there, it's got a 4 pitch. 22 miles, 4 pitch. 11. I would guess it's going up about 7 feet from where it is now.
Okay, it looks like you can actually stand up in this, so it's not really a loft, is it?
It's gonna have a dormer on it as well, a small dormer. I don't think they're gonna put a bathroom up there.
And can I look through these maps too? Because I couldn't see them from the backside.
Sure, and if you like here, I can give you a copy of the. Thank you. So, take those as
You
well.
can take those.
Yeah, but you can look at those too if it's easier.
Also, the other question I want to know is what is the actual regulations of building next to a cemetery? I know these houses were built
Existing.
already in the cemeteries there.
There are regulational buildings to a cemetery, but they're already there.
So
The
it's,
RSA is 25 feet when you're trying to do new construction for the cemetery.
So these are in place 25 feet from the cemetery then?
Well,
No, they're
the-
not.
The buildings are existing, so there's whatever that setback is now.
They're not moving any closer.
Okay,
The first paper, sir, is where it is now. And the second paper is where they plan to put it.
Yeah, if you knew the width,
What's that?
if you knew the width of the house, you could figure out how tall.
We just gotta use this 1/4 inches a foot. So if you break out your scale rule.
Yeah.
He's got it right there.
Oh, he has one.
Yeah.
So what did you get for a height?
Oh, it's about 7 feet higher than
He
what's
said
there
7
now.
feet high.
7 feet high? And the current structure is what at this moment?
I have square footage. What are you looking for? The height of the structure?
Yeah, what is the overall total height? You just told me it went up 7.
Yeah, I'm going up 7 and it is, I think it's about 14 feet from the floor to the peak. Is my best guess.
The new,
The old.
Yo,
the old.
The old was 14.
And you're adding 7 more
And-
feet?
Yeah.
So this is
21.
21.
so is that considered square footage also? Bob?
It's livable.
Livable space.
Yeah.
So there's like two different, we're talking about footprint square footage.
Yep.
So, the footprint doesn't change if the building's 2 stories or 3 stories or 4 stories. So those are the 2 square footages what we've been talking about. So yes, it sounds like their living space square footage will increase based on what they're
Slightly.
proposing.
well, yes, from the original footprint, it's increasing.
There is an original footprint increase and there is also a finished
Yes.
livable space increase. I'm just trying to answer the right question
Right,
for you.
okay. So, so this lot is big enough for 2 buildings then? Obviously.
No.
It's not,
Nope, but it was pre-existing.
right?
Pre-zoning, the 2 houses, right? So they're already established and grandfathered as 2 buildings and they're condos.
So if they're pre-existing, I mean, I don't mind them tearing down and rebuilding, but if they rebuilt the same exact structure that's what's there now, it's fine. But it's going higher, it'll impede views from surrounding properties.
I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Leanne, we can't restrict their height. They're not asking for a variance from the height of the building.
They're not asking for a variance.
So they could tear down and build in the same footprint and in theory go as many stories within whatever the zoning of that area is. I don't know what.
There is a height limit, it's 35 feet.
So they could build a 35-foot building on the same footprint and not have to get any variance. If that helps you.
And the driveway staying the same?
They are proposing the same driveway. from what I
Route
understand.
3, yes.
The same position that it's at right now?
They would have to go to the,
Based
They
on what
would go
they've
to
submitted
state.
here, there's no change to the driveway.
Off of Route 3, same
Right.
driveway.
Same guy.
if they
And-
did, yeah, they'd have to get that permission from the state to change the
Correct.
Right. And right now, there's a post and beam fence, I think, between the property line and the beach. Are you proposing a solid fence?
The post and rail fence, I think, and there's no proposed changes to the fence.
So it'll stay the same then?
Stay the same.
And it's going to be a dug well. You have a well there now?
No, it'll be a drilled well.
So what's the water feed now? Is it
I think it's lake.
Lake?
Alex is here. Does it use lake water?
Currently, we're coming from the across the street corner. Across the street corner has a small well, and it has a pipe under the Laconia Road. Right now, the conda are getting the water from a conda across the Laconia Road. We have a well which supply the water for motel and 9-hour convenience. So,
Repeat all that, please.
okay.
Yes, yeah, right.
Right now, water to a conda coming from across the street. We have a private well which supply water with water motel and 9-hour use. And it's a pipe underneath of the Laconia Road bringing water. It's low pressure. It's difficult to work with, so we decided to drill.
your own well.
Mhm.
So you're gonna do your own well.
Yep.
So with the cemetery, the existing lots where the existing structures where they are right now are not within code anymore, right? And they're going to be proposed, they're going to raise these 2 units and put some almost in the exact same spot again.
It appears that one's gonna be pretty much in the same spot.
Okay.
Structure 1. Structure 2 is gonna be further away from the cemetery.
That is my,
So that's still within code then.
so none of them meet the
Code.
code,
Okay, I see.
because they existed before the code existed, sort of thing. So the general proposed plan keeps one building roughly in the same spot
Right, I
as
see that.
compared to the cemetery. And it moves a second building away from the cemetery
And away from the water.
and away from the water.
But still does bring it in within the 25 feet. That's supposed to be now from a cemetery.
Correct.
But they have it now, yeah.
So I mean, you get sewer, this town sewer, right? Bob?
There's municipal sewer there.
Town sewer, pre-drilled well. A little bit larger structures, 7 feet taller. Yeah. I just want to know basically, because I'm on a butter, so.
Ask away.
That's what, yeah.
Why you came?
Yeah, as long as there's no solid fence to impede the view.
Can I ask where you are as in a butter, just so on the, so.
I'm right beside the hotel, the inn, the Winnisquam Inn.
Across the street. So you're over here?
Yes. This is Route 3?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
here's the beach, like here's the end
Yeah.
of it, when it's farm is
Somewhere
here. So you're,
Yeah.
okay. He said he's over here, like up by, with a, next to the inn. The inn's here and he's over here.
You get the end, then the driveway to the condos, and then you.
Okay,
Condos,
so,
that's right.
This
on
is-
the corner,
On the corner,
Winnisquam Village.
Winnisquam, he's in Winnisquam Village. Yeah. The
and
condo,
this place is absolutely non-visible for any Square Village.
Yes,
It's
it
not
is.
even visible.
I look at it
What
every
address,
day. in my
what address
house.
is it, Square Village?
Pardon?
What street address is it? 788?
are you on Cardigan?
Cardigan Court.
Cardigan Court.
Profile?
Not visible, absolutely. Cardinal Court is right there,
Right, but
and
there's,
you cannot even see these
Okay.
condos from that Cardinal Court.
I live on the end unit. I have 16
okay.
house, 16 windows in my house. I can see the lake from every window, and I can see those condos.
Yeah.
Or the so-called condos, whatever they are. They rent them out, I know that.
Cardinal
Yeah.
residents try to get into the beach, and sometimes they ask to leave because we will belong there. Sometimes they get upset.
Sir, that's another situation we're talking about there.
That's okay.
You are free to ask all the questions you want. sir.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
All right, you're welcome.
Yeah, I've seen these online, but it was like kind of faded.
It's tough to,
And I
Yeah.
couldn't make it out, and I can see, well, I wanted to see the color and everything on it anyway.
the same thing, it's tough to discern what all the changes are.
It is.
you can keep those if you
can
want.
keep those.
You good?
Okay, I'll take them. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other public comment? All right. You guys ready to close it and discuss? Any other questions right now? Ollie? No? All righty, so we'll close the public comment and discuss amongst the board. You guys want to tackle a specific part first, or just generally the whole thing? It's a lot.
I know what it is.
So it's like, we could tear down and keep the same footprint and not be here at all and build them to 21 feet, and that would be, it wouldn't be here at all,
Right.
correct?
Right, and you wouldn't have as good a plan, right? You'd be closer to the water. what you're saying, right?
We
Right.
say it,
End result, yeah.
I like that it's further away from the cemetery on that one.
I mean,
Anybody
generally,
needs-
this improves what was there when it comes to setback. It encroaches a little bit more into the road,
But yeah,
but of all of the setbacks, that's the least,
yeah,
moving away from the lake is kind of
it's a nice one.
Well, and they are adding some better drainage, it sounds like.
That even on top of it is,
Here's, Eric, if you want this big plan to kind of look at, it might be a little easier as you're going through it.
And like you said, they're going to 21 feet, but they could go 35 feet if they're
Oh,
the
this
same
seems
footprint.
sweet.
for height.
Right, for height.
Well, yeah, why didn't we get that one?
Well, because we got a plotter in for the budget. When we get the plotter, we're gonna get big copies of everything.
What about the well?
Well's way in the corner.
Well's way out here,
Yeah.
which they don't need anything from us as far as the well goes.
No,
And it sounds like they're even meeting all of it anyways.
right, and the height gain isn't that crazy.
And it's even outside of,
It's really.
kind of outside of our,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're just doing setbacks.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
On the back. I guess take it out of the big group.
After you go through your criteria, might make it easier if you want to take the structures one at a time. And if you wanted to motion to, if you were going to motion to accept the setbacks, you could take them as a group by building. And
Yeah.
that way it might
So
be easier.
structure one and structure
Structure two, when
That's
you're ready
probably-
to motion, whether to deny or approve.
probably cleaner that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do each one, I don't think. So if you want to just do to allow the buildings with the setbacks as listed. you can do it that way. Okay, we go through your criteria.
The only one that is, I don't even know if it matters. I'm just gonna, the structure one moves overall a foot closer to the lake. But I don't think, I don't gather it, or I don't see it as a foot closer to the lake on anything that changes. I mean, you could, like they were talking about putting a deck there. I don't know, would they need to come for a variance for a deck? Even if, so that would still be there. And if you didn't do that, then you have a 5-foot wide deck. You know what I mean? They can't move this building back anymore. Because they're encroaching by that
They're-
cemetery.
They're gonna hit the sun. Or you make a 5-foot deck, you gotta do a 5-foot deck.
The structure.
I mean, that's literally the only thing in this plan that doesn't improve what's there
Right.
and move it. I just don't know, or we just
You're talking about
arbitrarily,
Structure number one.
Yeah,
Structure
we're
number
talking about
one,
right
yeah.
here. They would like a 6-foot deck, but say no.
Well, there is a deck there now already.
however, what exists now is 14 feet.
Right.
What they're proposing moves a foot
Mm.
closer. That's my only hang up, and I don't know that it's,
Did you say? You're gonna do a 5. You can build a house,
Right.
you get a 5-foot deck because you're on the water.
other people's thoughts. I don't know if I'm being,
No, you make a good argument.
It is. It was a one desire, not a hardship.
there's nothing that stops them from, making a house a foot shorter.
Or you leave the house. and just
Have
5-foot deck,
a more narrow neck deck, yeah.
5-foot deck. You have
There's still a
5-foot
deck that exists down here.
Right.
Then, again, it's on the desires, it's not a hardship.
Exactly.
Being quiet, Brian.
No, just looking.
Or if you guys ready to go to
Yep.
the 5?
Do it.
Yep.
Granting this variance would not be contrary to the public interest. I'm not going to reread what they wrote. I'm just going to turn it over stance. We can do that, right?
Mhm.
I think like we were just talking about, the overall minus that one part, this is an improvement to what exists. Better drainage, moves it away from the lake. I think that makes it in the public interest.
I agree.
I agree.
If the variance are granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed. kind of falling back to the same things. Lot already exists well outside of the spirit of the ordinance. And aside from that one part, it moves all of it closer to what the actual ordinance is,
Yeah, other than the road.
other than the road. But I mean, I feel like the lake is the more important piece of this.
Mhm.
They're still outside of the right of way, as Brian pointed out, for the road itself. Granting the variance would do substantial justice. I'm on the same thing. This improves the drainage around the lake, it moves structures away from the lake. It changes the developed area to permeable areas.
Hmm.
Does everybody need to vocalize on these, Leanne? When we go through the fives,
No,
everybody,
you could,
no?
you can
Okay.
take that. If someone has an objection is what they should speak up.
Or if the variance were granted, the values of the surrounding properties would not be diminished. I'm on. This is not significantly changing them in the sense they're putting new buildings, nice buildings up, cleaning it up.
Right.
I don't think it changes the values around it.
I don't think it's an out of control new development.
That's a good way to put it.
No?
Okay.
Unnecessary hardship, owing to a special condition of the property that distinguishes it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in an unnecessary hardship. Because no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. I think we're falling back into this awkward wedge-shaped piece sandwiched between a lake and a road.
Yeah.
And again, they could tear down what exists there and rebuild new houses and not be in an improved state.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Agreed.
The proposed use is a reasonable one. I feel like we keep rehashing the same things, but
Yeah, really. Yeah, no, I'm
I think it's, I mean, for the same reasons, I think it's a reasonable proposed use. They could just build two new buildings right exactly where they exist. Yeah, the footprints are a little bit larger, but they're still within the percentage of the lot that can be covered, and they're moving closer to the vast majority of the setbacks.
Agree.
I don't think we have to do B because we did A.
Can I just ask, what is the cemetery? Whose cemetery is that?
But it's
Is it
a family
Is it
cemetery.
private cemetery?
Yeah,
You know?
it's a private, it's a private family, but it's old. It's
Like
17
old town.
But there's two graves in there,
Oh, just two graves?
just two graves. Yep.
Anyone want to start with a motion on structure one?
Oh, no, you have to make a proposal.
Oh. I don't know.
Okay.
So you can make a positive motion, so you can start by motioning to approve.
We had a problem with that.
You can set it up
You can do
however you
whatever
want.
Okay.
So you can make a motion to approve building structure number one
Okay, a motion to approve building structure number one.
with the proposed setbacks as presented,
With the proposed setbacks as presented.
which are the 17 feet
17 feet
feet from the high water mark,
from the high water mark,
3 feet from the side setback,
3 feet from the side setback,
14
14
feet for the steps,
for the steps.
and 13 feet for the deck, or not. That's what they have.
Someone second that we can discuss it.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss that.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
I would recommend that we make an amendment to that where we maintain the 14 feet that's existing from the lake.
I second that amendment.
We're going to vote on that now, right?
Right, you should vote on amending the motion.
Those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, so the new motion is 14 feet on the deck.
So the new motion is 14 feet from the deck.
Now we got to vote on the next one unless you guys want to talk.
And we have to, right, on the original motion.
Right.
Original motion. I'm gonna second that. We are gonna make a motion and second on that, or no?
There already was an original motion that he amended to 14 feet on the
So I need a
deck.
second on the original?
Matt seconded. the
Okay.
original.
So do we still vote on it? This is the first time we've ever done this.
Yep.
Done an
Do we
amendment?
still vote on the original?
Yep, because all you did was vote to change the motion. You didn't actually say whether you approve of the motion. So you've only amended the motion. The new motion reads, is a motion to approve structure 1 with the following setbacks: 17 feet, 3, 14, and 14. And that was seconded by you. So that's your new motion that you just created.
And that's what we're
So
voting.
now you need to vote on that, whether it's
Okay.
an up or down on that.
I apologize. We're still a new board, so we're working through the technicalities. Okay, those in favor of the new motion,
Aye.
All right,
vote aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it.
So
So
that's
structure 1
structure 1
passed
4 votes.
with the amendment.
Right.
I'm adding this in afterwards. We've talked about this in past meetings. We don't have to put the qualifiers such as like meeting all the state requirements. That's
No, that's
given.
planning. All you're doing is giving a variance. That's all.
Mhm.
If you have if you can put conditions on your motion, but I mean, those will be conditions of, yeah. Like they'll have to get their shoreline protection to get a building permit.
Okay, so that we don't have to worry about that. Okay, any motions on structure number 2?
No. Okay. I propose for ZB 2119, structure number 2, to accept the proposed 41 feet from the high water mark for the house, 27 feet high water, 37, excuse me, 37 high water mark for the deck, and the front setback of 17.
second it.
Seconded? All right.
sorry, I didn't catch who the second
Brian.
was. Brian, thank you.
Any discussion on it?
No.
All right, those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Nay? The ayes have it. So ZB 21-19 passes
With an amendment.
with an amendment.
Amendment.
Both of them, yeah. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, we are now on to case 21-20.
Oh, that's me. I'm dyslexic. Ask Janice.
Mr. and Mrs. McDonald.
I have to show her, showing Joey, she likes correcting me.
Folks, we have an easy one for you now.
We hope so. Anyway.
Oh, sorry about that, buddy. Yeah.
No, it's good timing.
Here, sure. You want me to read all that?
Yeah.
This is the garage in the front of the house.
Where it looks like you currently parked the truck.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
we
trailer.
can't get the truck or her car under the one in the house, and
This is the second house up.
I'm looking at this.
yeah, second up on the
Yes.
left,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So the dark spot was our original thoughts. So I don't have my total dimensions yet, if you don't mind me standing up.
You just have to speak into the.
Yeah.
Speaking on the microphone.
This-
You take that mic off.
I'm Jeff McDonald, thank you.
You can take that mic off.
And you are?
I'm Jennifer McDonald.
There you go.
Okay. This lot, the house it's a big lot, and the house seems to be setting way back for, we don't know what reason, but I think when they developed right in front of the house, there's some trees, and the septic is right out here, and then it sort of drops to the tree line to the
Toward
lot.
142.
Yeah, to the 132. So to put it down by Jen's flower and tree, if you come in the driveway to the left, she doesn't want to lose that.
That's where they proposed we move it to.
They thought maybe we should go over there, but it's just it's kind of far from the house to make it, So we think that in that darkened area, I would say it would be 40 feet probably from the corner of the house. And we're still going to be,
It was about 48 feet off the road to the back
48.
corner of the
I
garage.
would say, yeah, between, I don't have my permanent stakes in there. There's still going to be plenty of lawn over here towards Vista Heights. And I would say in the range, depending on which angle we jockey, the garage would be 45 to 50 feet range, still off Vista Heights. It'll be a nice looking garage, similar white trims with the gray siding to the house, and I think it'll be good.
Just because there's a boxed out area
Yes,
and then there's the
Here, Eric, here's
darked
the
out
one.
area.
Yeah, the area that's dark is where we actually want to build it.
Oh,
We
yes.
came in last year and a gentleman, whoever was working for the zoning board at that time, came to the house and he said we should put it on the other
said
side
that-
of the driveway, which is like way far
Albert?
away from the house.
Albert,
Yeah. And there's a flowering tree there that we don't want to take down, and it's very sloped on that side of the driveway, so it's not very,
And this is the
convenient.
X spot that,
that's the X spot.
yeah. So we want to be in the general vicinity of the,
Yeah.
and where the X spot
Oh, the
is
X is
now.
actually the other place we were going to try to put
The
it.
X spot now, there's some trees showing there. Those trees are
Show
now,
that.
those are,
That's the red is where they want it.
yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
So, and it's any accessory use structure may not be constructed right in the front yard, right?
Mhm.
Between two parallel lines, a parallel line between the road and the front of the house, you can't build accessory structures. So that's what they need a variance.
Right. And we
It's not
can't,
the
yeah,
setback, it's the whole. front.
right, and we can't attach it to the house. That was something else they had recommended, maybe attach it to the house, but there's already an addition on the house that's at a strange angle, and there's a stone wall, and there's utilities and power lines on that side, so it wouldn't be practical to put it there either, or it would look really, the way that it would tie into the house would be awkward. So having it as a separate structure would be really the only way we could make it work.
And to put it out back would just be,
There's no room for it out back anyway,
You'd have
unless
to-
you,
bring a driveway, like it's quite a hill here and you can't go in. This area is like septic built up, so.
Yeah.
We figured we'd have to do this.
Leanne, what is the front dimension first off Vista Heights for structure? What's the
The
setback?
front setback, I think it's 20. Are you in the medium density? I think it's 20, I think,
20?
in the setback.
So you're gonna be further than that.
Yeah, I mean, if you drive around the neighborhood and look right across the road,
there's a
our
lot of
neighbors
structures
just went to
closer.
Florida. Matter of fact,
20.
they gave us a letter to bring down tonight. They have no opposition, but anyway,
They left that for it.
yeah, I think we have quite a bit of room to still make it look good and not jump right out at you.
Yeah, and still have plenty of green space and not really, disturb the land that we're on even or anything around us. It won't infringe on anything on the neighbors or anything.
I just wanna make sure it's within that,
Yeah.
further than that 20.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
we'll probably
understood,
be
yeah.
close to
I think when-
45, 50, so it'll be more than double.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a huge flat space there. It's, ideal.
Again, the spirit of the ordinance is that you're not building pools and
Right.
sheds and that in your front yard.
Right.
That everything's
Mhm.
behind the primary structure. So anyway, with that said, not that I have anything against this. I just want you to understand what the
Yeah.
ordinance is saying.
Any more questions at the moment?
No.
I'm gonna have them go through the 5.
Yep.
On board.
Yep.
You guys just have to read your 5
Okay.
criteria of the
You
record.
Questions and answers. I have to read all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because the location would leave as much or more space to Vista Heights than some other structures that are already in subdivision or that are being actually built in the subdivision, we just learned. If the variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed because we would still have plenty of green space in the front setback. It would provide a small amount of privacy for us, but it wouldn't block the view of the home or from the home, and it would be appealing to the neighborhood. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because it would allow us to have useful, accessible storage. The existing garage under the house is too small to accommodate vehicles. The location would be the best, as I said, it wouldn't interfere with our septic system. which is in front of the house, the slope of the lot, or the abutters. If the variance were granted, the values of the surrounding properties would not be diminished because the garage would be built to or above current codes. It will be aesthetically appealing and provide for storage for our vehicles, yard equipment, and other necessities that are currently parked in the driveway because there's no place to put them. It will help preserve the natural beauty of the lot as it will not interfere with or require removal of any of the mature trees on the property. For unnecessary hardship, owing to a special condition of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because I know fair and a substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. Because this is the closest we can get to the garage to our house without attaching it. Just explained, we're unable to attach the house due to the layout and location of the lot. On the lot, attaching it would require removal of trees, retaining walls, and relocation of utilities. Placing it elsewhere on the property would be difficult due to the slope of the lot, distance from the house, and location of the septic. If the proposed use is a reasonable one, because this is the most convenient, accessible, and suitable part of the yard for such a structure. It is flat, fairly expansive, close proximity to the home and utilities that we need to hook up to make the structure functional. It will not interfere with the power lines, the road, or any of the abutters. And B, explain how, if the criteria is subparagraph A are not established, an unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist if and only if, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, the property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. To build anywhere else on the lot, we would have to bring in a large amount of fill to level the slope, or we would still be in the front setback. Have long runs for utilities needed to make the space functional, and several trees would need to be removed, including the most beautiful mature flowering tree on the property, which I'm not taking down. So.
Question.
Thank you.
Thank you. How tall is the garage?
It will be 12 on the side and approximately 9 on top of that, I think, on the drawing. So well, it was 21 feet.
Thank you.
Do you have the letter from your abutter just so that we can read it
Yes,
into
absolutely.
record?
Yep.
Which abutter was this?
This is William
Right
and,
across.
yeah, William and Jeanette Ferry. They're
Across
right
the
across the street. Yep. There you go. They would be the ones that it would affect the most.
Yeah,
as they're-
look, lot 17 called me.
Okay.
That was that person. That's the 17. You gonna read it into the record, or are you just gonna?
I figured it should.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That was my.
They just left for Florida Thursday, so they wanted to.
Okay, dated 10/12 of 21. Dear Miss Moynihan, my husband and I cannot attend the October 19th meeting. We want you to know we do not object to the McDonald's building a garage in their front yard. We hope you will consider and permit them to go ahead with building the garage. Thank you. Oh boy, Jeanette Ferry?
Ferry. Yep.
Jeanette Ferry and William Ferry, 15 Vista Heights.
Okay, and I did get a call from, and I can't remember her name, whoever owns lot 17.
Okay.
Which on the map, there's no house, but there's a house there now, because this map.
Yes,
right.
that's correct. Yep.
So there's
That's
a new house.
correct.
And I believe she is, or she said her house is more on you, towards your property line than in the center. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Their house is, yeah,
Say
it's,
right
it
around.
doesn't show on here.
no, it's
Yeah.
probably right on the edge of where that kind of dirt
She did
looking
question
area
where the
is.
garage was gonna be, was a little concerned it was gonna be seen directly by her, but said she didn't, but did say she didn't have any objections and was gonna try and talk to you about it, so.
Yeah, yeah, she probably could see it from her house, I would think, but
Once the
their
leaves
house
are off.
their house is taller than ours, though. I don't know that it would,
Yeah.
affect their view or anything.
Anyway,
Yeah.
She did, and I told her I would mention that, and she said she's gonna try and speak with us.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Is there a view there?
As-
Up towards Kearsarge.
Yeah, over the neighbor's house, the one that the
Would
Village
this
Net
obstruct their
Ferries,
view?
not
No
theirs,
one's but ours, probably.
just our own, yeah. But we still have a view the other
We have a
direction as
view
well.
like going this way. This way, might obstruct us a little bit looking over, but we'll
It
still have
mostly
all
will
of
block
their-
us from seeing the neighbor's house more
Yeah,
than
well-
anything else. And then the people behind us should still be able to see fine from
Okay.
their property.
Yeah, I'm not really concerned.
Yeah,
You
and
ruin
we're
your
kind
own
of-
view.
Yeah, and we're kind of,
I don't think
yeah,
the view is west. The
Yeah.
view is
It's the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
South.
Yeah.
South.
Right.
And when you pull in your driveway, the
Mhm.
gable end is gonna be, you're gonna pull in and then go into the end.
And
On this print here, it
Yes.
says towards Vista, so I just don't know.
Yeah, the gable, there'll be a gable, facing
Facing the
Vista, and a
road.
gable will be facing
Oh, it's going that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we'll
similar.
drive in, it'll face,
So we'll
the
come in
garage
and-
doors will face the house.
Oh,
sort
the
of
garage
the
door is gonna
driveway.
face the house.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So is that the skinny end is facing the road? Is that what we're trying to
and it's
say?
not much skinnier.
Yeah, it's like
27 by
23 square.
27 by
It's gonna be
32.
pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm-
So from the road, you're gonna be looking at the gable end with no garage doors.
Correct.
That's right,
It's gonna be on the other side.
Yeah.
exactly.
Maybe a window, but maybe not. We haven't gotten that far yet.
Any other public comment? No? Okay. Those are my questions.
I know, I just noticed he hadn't signed it.
No.
All right,
No.
we'll close public comment, discuss amongst the board.
Okay.
I drove through the neighborhood. Looks like other people have done this
Yeah.
in the neighborhood.
Today is the 19th.
Not unheard of. But you could-
There's the one going up right now.
What's that?
As long as they're not really something.
Yes, view.
Then I have no.
Right.
I have no-
Because their view is going to be that way more than,
And their application is tied to the dimensions, so it's not like you can grant this and then not saying you do this. Turn around and build an 8-bay garage or anything.
no.
No,
If anything, it'll be smaller than the 32.
Yeah.
But
But
they're
they're-
probably gonna stick to those.
The way the variance is worded ties them to that size.
Yep.
correct?
do the 32.
Keep it,
A 27 by
Yeah.
32
Yeah.
garage.
yeah. I'm trying to keep that big, but
Don't.
No, and we already
I
have,
went 26 by 32 and I should have went wide.
we have trusses already.
Don't
Our
go
trusses are
small.
27.
That's what he said.
You guys all set?
All
Everybody
set.
Good?
Yeah, I'm all
Ready to
set.
go through? All righty. Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest. I think that it fits in the neighborhood. This is a pretty large lot. It's almost 2 acres. Not right up on the front of it.
I agree.
I think what they're proposing to build, while it is outside of the variance, it's a reasonable structure. Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest. Coming back to the same thing, proposing a reasonable building on a lot that is more than adequate to handle it. Personally, I'm all on board. I'm not cutting down mature trees.
Just get.
No, that's what I just read,
Oh,
didn't I? If variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed, because I think I did skip it. I think you're right.
yeah, you did.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My input was staying.
Watch it.
Yeah,
What's that?
I watched him.
I said, watch it.
I need someone to keep an eye. Granting the variance would do substantial justice.
Yes.
Yeah, I
agree.
think.
I think it fits with the way their lot lays, allowing them
No.
to do with what they want with their land, and it's consistent with the neighborhood. If the variance were granted, the values of the surrounding properties would not be diminished.
Agree.
Unnecessary hardship, owing to a special condition of the property that distinguishes it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship. No fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of the provision to that property. Like we talked about keeping quote unquote nuisance structures out of the eyes of everybody, and this is very reasonable to me. Proposal. The proposed use is reasonable because it's looking at the lay of their land, it does make sense. It's the most reasonable spot for the building.
It really drops off on the left,
Yeah,
plus the tree.
I know. It's so pretty. I'm telling you.
Any motions?
Want to make a motion, you can just make it a motion. You know, for this application. So I'm looking for approval.
Motion to approve ZB number 2120 to allow Jeffrey and Jennifer McDonald a variance per Article 7, Section 2 to allow the construction of a 27-foot by 32-foot garage in what is considered the front of the primary structure.
I'll second it.
Seconded. Any discussion? No? All righty. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Variance is
Thank you,
granted.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Came up that.
We can go.
Is there another way out of here?
Yeah.
It didn't really open to the public. I know there's no.
I did open it. to the
Oh, you
public.
did?
Yep. After we
Yeah.
read the letter. I-
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yes.
I'm sorry. We'll chat with the neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah, it might be good just to.
Yeah,
check in
touch
with
base
her.
with them.
I don't know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, she,
It's
if
just
we
new.
put it on that upper tree line towards them, but then we need a different driveway and everything. If it was up tight to there, it might lock them out, but
But down
we
where it
couldn't
is.
access. That's why we sort of brought in around the corner. We have an existing driveway that's gonna need work there. If we did put it up on the top edge of the lot, but then we'd have to meet that
Yeah,
setback.
it's
We'd probably
attached.
have to get another driveway, so
Yeah.
we're not gonna go that route too with the site work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
All right.
Have a good
night.
Good night.
Good luck.
Over to High Street. All righty. Case 21-21.
The room's cut it out, so it's gotta be me.
Mm.
Do I speak to it first? Is that?
Yes, yeah, if you speak to it
Excellent,
first.
that's what I want to do. My writing is terrible, it's my cerebral palsy, but I talk all right. In fact, I talk too much. I looked at this from a couple different perspectives. As far as the zoning board, I am using an existing structure. There is no structural change. There is no change to the footprint. And that is also zoned residential. And what I'm looking to do, it's already got power to it. It's already got the curb cut because it's a garage. What I want to do is make it into a small efficiency apartment. And on a town level, what it'll do is it helps the area in that the agreement I have with the person moving in is they'll help me fix my porch and paint my house. So that'll enhance the neighborhood in and of itself. But it won't really affect then nobody would actually notice what's happening in truth. It's a garage that's been sitting there. The house has been there since 1860. So it's not like anything new is happening. For the town, there'll be a minimal tax increase. The other thing that'll happen is because it's adjacent to Buffalo Park, if there's a little more activity there, it'll probably be good in that there'll be less people hanging out in the park at night. Or they'll be less likely to hang out in the parking lot at night. As far as the property, I'm across the street. And because it's the end of the street, it's considered contiguous on the left side. The back goes back 175 feet into the woods. The right side of Butter has given me a letter, give to you guys, saying she has no problem with what we'd like to do. As a matter of fact, she's offered her help to help us do it. As far as a personal, and of course, every decision you make has a personal side. And this is the most logical. Cancer wiped out my company once, COVID wiped it out a second time. I now have a job, but I'm trying to, quite honestly, meet the mortgage. I mean, there's no mystery to it. I'm just getting I'm getting older. So ideally, when we sell the house, I might move into it. But it's all on one level. I don't think we could make it much simpler. I've already talked to the water people and the sewer people. Everybody's okay. So I don't know what else I should be saying. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna get a little water. I don't have salivary glands.
Yeah. So this is lot 6.
Yeah, so it's the garage across the street.
So this is not a buildable lot.
Correct.
It does have a garage, which is just an accessory building. He only has 50 feet of frontage and not enough acreage for a dwelling.
How much is it off by?
I have it right on here. If you look at that
Oh,
sheet I gave
okay,
you.
all right.
Sorry. Lumped it in there.
It needs 100 feet of frontage, only
Yep.
57. It's a very narrow lot.
Very
All right,
deep,
okay.
very, very deep. I guess if it came down to it, because it's, I could take land off my house lot and move it across the street, but that doesn't make any sense at all.
How big's the garage?
It is 16 foot wide, 22 foot deep. 470 some square feet, if that's what you're looking for. And as I said, the power is already there, so.
And it already has a bathroom, you said?
It does not. It's got power and I've got the water set up with the sewer commission, but no, there's no bathroom there. Sounds like if I could put a bathroom without a problem, but that the question is somebody staying there.
So you're gonna be
There would
town,
be a certificate of,
Yeah, they're gonna fill out a certificate for the town of occupant, and give them their fee.
there's a lot to do. This is just a garage.
Right, it's gonna become an efficiency apartment.
But
No, it's going to become a single family home.
Yes.
There's no efficiency apartment if
Right.
it's.
Why, I'm
single
sorry,
family
in
dwelling.
my head. I
Well,
apologize.
you own it.
It's now going to be grandfathered as a single family home. You're actually going to build a single family home even though you have a garage there
And on a non-buildable lot.
on an unbuildable.
Okay,
It's a
I
separate lot.
apologize, I don't know how
Yes.
to,
no, it's just, yeah, it's the,
I don't know the right way to word things.
Well, the
When I-
problem would be that, like, even if you were to move away, this would be now granted, so.
Right, and you could sell it. You could sell
Right.
that as a single family
Wow.
home lot.
And so,
Certainly well, I'm hoping to die in that house.
You're not the one across the street.
What's that? No, well, like I said.
we totally understand the intent. It's just looking
Yeah,
long-term,
well, I
what
get it.
this
I get it.
happening here can mean in the
I get it.
future.
I
you know,
understand.
this is a tight little area.
Yeah,
But I don't know how I would be able to use the lot in any other way because
It's an accessory lot. It's an
it
accessory.
is what it
lot.
is.
It's an
Right,
accessory
it
building.
is. And so it was never designed or whatever to be
I don't know what
To
they
be
were
built up.
thinking.
a buildable lot.
well, probably they subdivided it before there was zoning. You know what I mean?
This is way, yeah, this
Maybe,
is,
yeah.
He said they subdivided in 1860.
the house was built in
Oh, the house.
1860.
Yeah, no, like this
But I don't know when they,
was a sliver bought by someone.
So it doesn't have sewer or water on it.
correct. I met with John at the water department. He said, if you guys give me the okay to call him in the morning and he'll put me in the schedule. And I met with the sewer commission about half hour ago and they've given me approval. And because it's town sewer and water, there's zero environmental impact.
You have underground electrical.
It's
service?
already there. Yep. That's already there.
What's the front setback supposed to be on a dwelling in the village? This is the village, right?
I think it's 2020.
This is the village.
We don't know how far this one is, do we?
What's that?
We don't know what it's.
What's the current garage off the road?
Yeah, I'm sure the garage doesn't meet the setbacks. If it's 57 and it's 20, he's already non-conforming.
The garage is like a car length away from
Right, it's 22 feet.
Yeah, and it's right on the road.
Yeah,
Well, it's
So what
the,
we're really considering,
it's the length of the car back.
it's a non-buildable
Yeah,
lot and he
what
wants,
we're really considering in the big picture is are we going to allow a home within the front setbacks
And the two side setbacks.
and the two side setbacks on a
Without the frontage.
non-conforming lot?
Right.
Would the side, because that's conservation land, wouldn't that, I think there's
Your
enough room
side
on.
setbacks. Your
Okay,
side
I was
setbacks.
gonna say, I think there's enough room on the park side.
I don't know where the setbacks are, but if it's 40, if it's 20, that's 40, you're going to 57, that leaves 17
17 feet of
of workable, buildable
space.
area. Your envelope to build is 17.
Mhm.
And you're already too far front on the road.
Right, okay.
So that's what we're considering here. Are we going to
Okay.
allow a home on a non-conforming lot within 3 of 4 setbacks that also doesn't have the correct road frontage? That's
Now, would I be able
Just like
to,
Mr. DeWalt's.
since you're bringing that up, because I'm across the street, it's considered contiguous. Could I take land from my home lot and move it to my garage lot? I don't know. I don't want to get into all that. I'm just asking.
I would, looking at this, my understanding would be you'd have to take land from Buffalo Park
Or
or,
actually, my wife's plan is to donate this to Buffalo Park when we die. We have no kids.
or from lot 7 or from lot 20 over there. One of those lots would have to,
Okay,
but even the, lot 7 is the only one that's meaningful to move into, get away from setbacks and that sort of
Okay.
thing.
all right. Getting an education at the same time. When I was on the planning board, it was 30 years ago. Everything came in as built. We never had to make a decision. And that always used to piss me off. That's why I said I'll go through the boards.
Yeah, all the hoops.
Well, I'm trying,
I totally understand. Totally
you
understand.
know.
It's kind of like, what's that lot for? There's nothing on that lot either.
What's that?
Matt,
Oh,
you see
that little trapezoid lot?
Yeah, who owns that?
Lot 4, yeah.
There's
that's
not a
another-
house on there either.
Nope.
No,
No,
That'd be like someone doing the same thing there. Like, I don't know what that purpose of that lot is either. It's a tiny little lot.
I'm surrounded on 3 sides by woods. I mean, deep woods and then the park and,
I agree, like, I live in that area, and when I bought my house, it was 2 little lots that
And you joined them.
I
right?
joined them. Like, someone owns 4, and I'm wondering if it's 3, because you would know it was yours. So
Right,
I'm-
so it probably is. I don't know why they don't join them. Well, there used to be the law allowed involuntary mergers, which is what the state was doing with taking all these little lots and
Right.
merging them. And then legislation changed and said they had to undo all those.
if it makes you feel any better, my mortgage holder
Yeah,
won't
my-
let me
my
split them.
tax.
My
I wanted
mortgage
to
holder
build-
won't let that happen at
Yeah,
all.
it's lot.
Yeah,
Because
just leave it.
you
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
can't
it
do
would be
anything
like
with lot 6.
$20 in taxes
Yeah,
or something, you know?
so lot 6 is a non-buildable lot.
Non-buildable
No,
lot,
And there's setback issues.
and the building that exists are within 3 of the 4 setbacks.
Yes, because we're
And it
just,
doesn't have the correct road frontage.
right.
Well, that makes it sound bad. It's just a little garage.
Well, yeah, the problem is you're asking for a permanent change.
Right.
Well, but it's, okay,
Zoned,
but
right?
it's zoned residential.
That isn't, because it's not conforming.
The
Well, the
zoning
zoning
is
is-
residential,
it's
but it's
village.
not a lot that meets
Okay.
the requirements.
And
for
it's the
building.
fact that it's been there and doesn't make it grandfathered?
You could build another garage.
You could
in
tear
the
this
same
garage,
thing.
right, yeah.
You could tear that garage down and build another garage right on its footprint.
So
Okay.
what's grandfathered is the garage is grandfathered.
Okay, thank you. I get it.
But he could read through his criteria. I guess you can allow him if he wants to read through his criteria.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, would you like to read through your criteria?
No. I will answer any questions you have, but I'll sound like an idiot if I start reading this.
Okay, I mean, I can read it in the record form. The variance is requested from Article, I'm not sure which one it is, it's on here.
Article 7,
Article 7,
Appendix C.
Appendix C, to allow a lot line adjustment resulting in the relocation. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Don't listen to me.
Using a
Here.
lot.
Right over here. A variance per Article 7, Appendix C, to allow the conversion of a garage to a dwelling on a non-buildable lot. Number 1, granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because this is a lot of record built in 1860, town sewer and water, increase taxes, activity, and make Buffalo Park safer. 2, if the variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed because it is a residential area. 3, granting the variance would do substantial justice because it allows the use of a deeded lot. If the variance were granted, the values of the surrounding properties would not be diminished because it's an existing structure with underground electrical service. My land is across the street, left is conservation land backed by woods. A butter to the right offered to help me
Build it.
build it. No one would know it changed. Number 5, owing unnecessary hardship, owing to a special condition of the property that distinguishes it from other properties in the area. Denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because 1 or I, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public provisions of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because this is an existing structure. And 2, the proposed use is a reasonable one because it is as zoned. B, explaining how if the criteria of subparagraph A are not established, an unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist, and only if, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, the property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. The lot cannot serve another purpose. It can't be sold. It will serve as needed income. COVID took our business. All right.
I don't know how you're supposed to word that stuff, so I just told you what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No worries.
A lot 6 could be sold with like 7 wanted it.
Yeah, it could merge. No reason I couldn't.
As far as town's concerned, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
No?
Nope.
No one's online, right? Any public comment? I'm gonna read the letter from the abutter here. Dated October 19th of 2021, to whom it may concern. I live at 97 High Street in Tilton, New Hampshire, and am in abutter to the parcel occupied by a garage belonging to David and Lynn Fox of 98 High Street, Tilton, New Hampshire, 03276. I do not have any objections to the change in use of the garage property to a residential use. And it is signed.
Zinthra.
What's that?
Her name is Zinthra.
Zinthra and Atkinson?
I can't say it. Achnitz. A-L-K, yeah, she goes by Amber.
97 High Street in Tilton.
Yeah.
All righty, we'll close public comment and discuss amongst the board. I think that what he's asking to do, well, it is reasonable, that sort of thing. I think that looking in the big picture of what it actually is, which is building a house on a non-buildable lot that is
Very close to the street.
well, it's missing its front setbacks. It doesn't have enough road frontage. It doesn't have the right lot size, and it doesn't have the 2 side setbacks.
Please don't go that way.
Well, I certainly appreciate his predicament. Right. I don't think we'll be able to meet the criteria when we go. My feeling.
I agree.
I agree also.
So we should go through all 5 still?
Yeah,
Okay.
because you need to, right, because
So,
if you do deny versus approve, you must give a reason.
Right, okay.
can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I merge it with my house lot? Would that help?
If he did that.
You
then
would
it
have
be-
one lot and you're allowed only 1 dwelling per lot.
You could sell it to who's on lot 7.
I have no interest in selling it. I do have an interest in saving my home. I
Is
mean,
there
this is a financial burden to me.
Accessory structure?
I mean, I know that might not be a town concern.
Oh, he could build
But
an
I don't-
accessory apartment, right? You need a special exception.
Right.
So that might be an avenue.
Is there some way I can do it? It's just, it's just,
Well,
bathroom
they
will
have
be
to act
allowed.
on this,
I'm
and the
sorry.
only other way, and I can tell you that, is if you did merge it, there's probably one way you could put an apartment in if you merged it with your lot. But we'd have to look at that. Okay.
Could we do that tonight?
No, because it doesn't have to do with this application.
Okay,
You'd have to do a separate application.
gonna
have
change
to
anything
post
here
it and
anyway.
notice.
okay,
And then I can tell you what another possible avenue you could try.
that
It
would
doesn't
be
have anything to do with
good.
this
And
application.
it would be bringing it before the same folks because sewer's
it would be-
already
it would be-
good and water's already good.
Yeah,
Everybody
it
else
wouldn't
is
be anything
fine.
to do with that. They just
Okay.
have
Yeah,
to
we're
act
gonna-
on this criteria right now.
I know where we're going with this and that's the sad part. I don't want to lose my house. I'm not lying to you. I,
I feel for you.
well, you can help me. It's a human decision. Every
Well-
business decision affects people in their lives.
It is, yes, it is a decision that affects people in your lives. I'm not trying to downplay that or not appreciate that,
Okay,
but this is the part I hate the most about this board, is it is we have to remove the personal piece from it
why?
and look at it strictly in the criteria. And
Do you feel there's another option for me?
There might be.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I honestly, I feel your plight. I'm not trying to downplay that. I'm trying to remove the emotion from it and look at strictly.
I can't remove the emotion.
I know you
can, but,
Okay,
right?
go ahead.
Just one more thing, just because one of the things just to support what they're doing is what you create here, and I understand is something you want to do for your future, and it is important to you. It
Absolutely.
creates it permanently. Once this is allowed to change to residential house, they have to look at, it changes the dynamics of this forever. So it becomes a dwelling.
And that goes
single
back
family
to
home.
whether there's a way to
Right.
hook it to my house lot. Because I have no interest in,
What you're asking to do is to create a totally new home lot. that doesn't meet
Right.
almost any of the conditions to build a home in this area.
Although
Which
it
would
doesn't
be here-
affect anything.
Which would be here longer than us.
Yes.
Right, but it doesn't affect anything. It's in the woods.
It does affect. It's density,
Okay.
you know, it's.
Well,
So-
it's an
creating
existing
density
like, we
structure
didn't-
and I'm not changing the footprint. How is it affecting density?
Because now people are living in it.
Yes, a single man who doesn't drive.
But
For you,
for
for
now,
you.
for now.
You could sell it. You're gonna pass, someone will buy your home, they could sell this, they could,
All right.
you know.
They could
I'm-
raise it and now
I
make a
guess
bigger
what I
house.
will do is, if this does not pass, as I anticipate, if there's any way you can help me figure out a way to make this work.
So it's just, the town voted on a set of laws on
I
what the
understand.
town says
I
we want
understand.
for houses. And so then we have to kind of justify whether
Okay.
it's okay to not do what the
All
town
right.
asked. Is that,
I get it. I do understand where you're coming from. It's been a long time. I wasn't zoning, I was planning. I understand. I helped write the master plan. But, and in this particular case, it's truly for me a hardship.
Not in a disagreement with that.
I
sure.
understand that, but it does affect it.
Right.
okay, we're gonna go through the criteria.
Yes.
Everybody good with that? Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest. I think in this case, this isn't, he's not asking to build another garage on a lot with a garage on it. We're totally changing the use of the lot and what is happening.
If you were to build another garage, you wouldn't even have to come here to do it.
I mean, let's say he wanted to build a bigger garage.
Well, yes.
It's like,
Quite honestly, I thought keeping the footprint and not changing the structure would make it okay.
I mean, it definitely helps with the cases, yes, but this is not just, it's not just changing the structure, it's changing the use of the property.
Okay. So if I'd lied to you and not told you you were staying there, I'd have been good.
If the variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed. So this is a hang up for me, or the spirit of this ordinance is to maintain what are lot sizes for homes.
Criteria.
Granting the variance would do substantial justice. I don't have a feeling one way or the other on this one. I don't know if somebody wants to voice on it, but
Oh, I think it would do substantial justice for this gentleman, but maybe not for the community.
Right.
Right.
If granting the variance were granted, the values of surrounding properties would not be diminished. It's tough to argue. I mean,
I would maybe even argue that.
you could say that
I think
somebody doesn't want more houses next to them.
Well, then what is the condition of the house? Because now we're talking a house, no longer a garage.
Right.
Right.
It is increasing the density of the neighborhood.
You don't know if it was the values.
And the
Would it
parking,
increase?
and all that.
Right.
And it's gonna be a small house compared to the homes that are here. It'll be really- It'd have to be a teeny house, right?
Yeah, it'd be
Right.
less than 500 square foot home. Owing to a special condition of the property that distinguishes it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship. Because one, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of the provision to this property. So his hardship exists, but I gotta word this because I use provision about 3 times in here. The purpose of the ordinance is to maintain population density in a given zoning, and this is a complete, again, change of use for what that property is.
Agreed.
The proposed use is a reasonable one. But this is where it's changing the use of that piece of property from an accessory lot with an accessory building to an
To a
actual residential lot. Explain how, if the criteria in subparagraph A are not established, an unnecessary hardship would be deemed to exist, and only if, owing to a special condition of the property to distinguish it from other properties in the area, the property cannot reasonably be used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. I mean, I think a case could be made that there is a special hardship here, but we have to meet all 5, and we haven't met any up to this point.
And he is using the property with a garage, so it's not
There's not no use, it's just not the use he's asking.
And it's also not saleable if you're not gonna let anybody do anything with it.
Well, you keep saying that, but I mean, lot 7 could buy it.
Okay, so there's one person in
Yeah.
the state that could buy that.
I mean,
All right.
They might want to.
They may want- They may not want neighbors and they may want to buy it,
She was, well, as you saw from her letter.
or if
she was
not her,
supportive.
maybe.
the person down the road.
Mhm.
Okay. A motion on the ordinance? It usually gets made in the affirmative.
Yeah, you
correct?
can confirm and then
I
quantify if it fails.
propose zoning board number 2121 to accept a variance per Article 7, Appendix CTO, allow the conversion of a garage.
To allow. It's appendix C, there's no space to allow.
Oh, to
No,
allow.
to allow.
To allow the conversion of a garage to a dwelling on a non-buildable lot.
Any seconds? I'll second it.
Brian?
Okay.
Brian?
It's been seconded. Any discussion? Any more past it? All right, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor of the motion as made, say aye. Those opposed, nay.
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 And the nays have it. Sorry, it does not pass.
I understand.
And denial due to failure to meet criteria.
Criteria for dwelling
Setbacks.
setback.
And before I leave, can I set up a time to meet with you to see if there's a way to do this?
Yeah, so I think now that that decision's been made, you can do an accessory dwelling on your property. You don't even have to come over here. If you're looking to do build an accessory dwelling off your dwelling. And
So
that's
if I
allowed.
merge the lots, I'm fine.
No, you don't even have to
Of your
merge a
current
lot.
house.
Just do an accessory dwelling on your house.
Oh,
Build an
okay.
accessory dwelling on your house.
Do
and rent it.
something, where are you?
The
You
end.
got
Oh, right
plenty
here.
of land,
Yeah,
build an
do
accessory
something
dwelling
back
on your
here. You don't have to sell your other lot and you could have a rental on your own property.
Just do an attached accessory unit, a one-bedroom accessory.
But, okay, it's just a lot more costly because the building is there.
Well,
Yeah,
your
you
house
could-
is there
You
too.
could sell it to 7. They might want to buy that extra property with that money. You could build,
So is the only way you see is to build on my own lot?
yes.
Is that what?
Well, the easiest way is to build on your own lot, or if you want to merge it and then come back for a special exception to build an accessory dwelling with on the garage as part of your lot. But the problem with that is you're still going to have setback issues.
So if I merge it, it's not gonna help.
I don't know that merging is the easiest way. I don't think you're going to get much on this lot. I think your easiest way to get an accessory apartment to rent is to do it off your house, but that's my recommendation. But we can talk about it offline.
Okay. One last question. If it's off my house, does it need to be attached to my house?
It needs to be attached to your house. If it's not attached, you need a special exception from the zoning board.
Okay. Well, I guess the other way to say it could be a totally different zoning board, but is that if I build it on my own lot behind my house, is that problematic in any way for anybody?
Oh, I can't come.
We'd have to see the application with a spelled out plan.
Okay. So,
So make a good plan.
Yeah, so we can talk about that in my office.
okay.
Okay,
When can we do that?
give me a call.
Okay. Well, thank you folks for your time. I'll go with that. Thanks for your time.
Sorry. We certainly appreciate your predicament. really.
All right.
New plan.
New plan.
I just came up with one. You
New
just
one.
shot it down.
New one.
I've come up with new plans about 8 times in my life.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Okay, we have to accept
The
the minutes from the last meeting. Any,
I make a motion to accept the meetings minutes from August 17th, 2021.
I second it.
Excellent.
all righty, those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it, the minutes have been accepted. Any other, anything else to bring up?
Just zoning amendments, would you be in,
We're still recording it. We haven't technically adjourned yet.
zoning amendments are gonna be coming up. And I thought it might be good to have a joint meeting with the planning board, with the zoning board and the planning on amendments. I don't know if that's something you would welcome or be willing to participate in this year. I don't know if you've ever done it that way, but the planning board writes the amendments, supposedly, and they come from ideas from zoning, building, things you've come across that you've seen, that might clean up the ordinances we'd like to see. So I think it'd be good for this board that deals with the zoning ordinances, even more than the planning board, to have a conversation about maybe some of the amendments we might like to see this year.
When would that be?
Next month.
Next month?
Yeah. There's some time that's better. Are there days that are better? They meet on Tuesdays as well. So we could either do it on one of their Tuesday meetings. They meet on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday.
Are we gonna be meeting next month, you think?
Well, it's
We don't
November.
have anything yet. I don't have anyone inquiring about anything yet.
Yeah.
So we
I'm on board
could
with
see if planning
communication.
board could do it on your night, on your 3rd Tuesday, or if you guys could do it on maybe one of their 2 Tuesdays. See, probably
And they meet at
That's pretty
they meet
flexible.
at 6:30.
6.
We could do it at 6 to start. We could have it at their meeting start at 6 and talk about, have like a workshop. Is that some,
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
okay with
rather,
You
I'd
good?
rather start
It would be
earlier.
better if it was not the 9th. That's the only
not the
thing I would
9th?
say.
Is the 9th?
The 9th
second
is the
Tuesday?
only Tuesday I work next month.
Okay, all right, I'll keep that in mind. Okay, so not the 9th.
Not the
We'll
ninth.
try and keep it to a
That's
Tuesday.
a
That seems to
holiday
be a
weekend,
good.
weekend anyway.
The 9th is is
There's
Veterans Day.
veterans, Yeah.
Is Veterans Day the Tuesday?
It is Tuesday. I'm pretty sure. it's
Isn't
Tuesday.
the
The
Veterans Day
11th,
usually
isn't it
11th?
always, they don't,
Well, is it Tuesday?
They don't move it,
No, it's
right?
Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
it's Thursday.
The 11th is Thursday.
That's when Veterans Day is.
Okay, so Veterans Day is the 11th. Okay, but you're working the 9th.
I would prefer not that night, but if
Okay.
I'm the only one, I could probably make something happen.
But
Yeah.
you guys, Tuesdays I know is good for you anyway.
Yeah.
All right, I think that would be a good thing to do this year to get
Yeah,
together.
and see if we can start at 6.
Yeah, and I think 6 is probably fine too, because I don't know if any of them have an issue with earlier. I don't know why one is at 6 and one's at 6:30 anyway,
Oh,
but yeah, I like 6 myself. Keeps
Yeah.
us here,
right.
especially us when we stay right through. It's easier for us to start earlier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'll try with that together, and maybe in the meantime, think of things that maybe you might like to see changed in the ordinance. I don't know if you try and think of things in the town, or things that you think are too vague now or difficult to enforce, so that you bump up against, that could be clearer, or,
Sounds good.
okay?
Yeah.
All right, good, great, that's great, thank you. And hopefully I'm gonna talk to them about it, and, yeah. That'll be a good thing. That's all I have. And next job.
Motion to adjourn?
Making a motion to adjourn?
Seconded?
Second it.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The meeting is adjourned.
And I'm glad you made it, Matt.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, you weren't gonna make it?